Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Welcome to Thursday Night Stamp Therapy and my free online card class for the Botanical Textures Suite. I'm so excited to be sharing with you tonight. It is April 24th, Thursday, April 24th, and tonight I am showcasing the April bonus project kit that you can get for free when you order $40 or more from me. I'm so happy that you're here, and I am sorry about running a little bit late tonight. It went even later than I thought. I don't know if you saw my comment in the chat, but we had a delayed start tonight because we had an art show at the high school, and my youngest daughter, Anna, who's a freshman, had some art pieces in the show, and she got first place for the sculpture category, and so I have pictures to show you. Anna created a sculpture out of cardboard, and this is a sculpture of Howl's Moving Castle, which is based on a 2004 Japanese animated film, and here's the back side. This is it's so incredible. Her attention to detail was just outstandingly amazing. Anna and all of her sisters have worked with all kinds of mediums, but they've worked with cardboard before and created cardboard sculptures, and they always used to make little doll houses and furniture, and so she was very comfortable with this medium, and you can tell her attention to detail and all the little details, like the little circles and the way that she curved the cardboard. It's just so incredible. We are so very proud of her. Anna won a gift certificate to a local art store, as well as a crafted palette by one of the art teachers. I didn't get a picture of that, and Anna didn't want me to show her face, but she's so cute, and we're so excited. So I'm running late because I was celebrating Anna and her amazing art tonight. So thank you so much for your patience, and and we are going to create some beautiful art too. You know, I always joke that the talent skipped a generation or two. My grandmother was such an amazing painter, and I love creating with stamps and ink, but I don't feel like I create original art like my daughters do. The way that they can draw and paint and craft and create, it's like I need I need stamps. I need some guidance, and they just create from scratch. That is just so amazing. But that's what I love about stamping, is that you don't have to be an artist. You don't have to win awards. You can create with the supplies that Stampin' Up has for us. And so tonight I'm going to be sharing 3 cards using the Textured Notes bundle, and this whole suite. The Botanical Textures is part of the March online exclusives. You can get all of this right now that I'm showing you tonight. And so I've got this flyer. It's linked up in the video description that showcases all of the March online exclusives. Of course, the best way to see them all is just to go to the online store at juliedavison.com/shop and check out all the online exclusives. But here is a flyer that just kind of showcases. I like to print. I like to have it with my catalog. And so you can print this out for yourself if you'd like. So the Botanical Texture Suite actually includes 2 designer papers. It includes the woven textures as well as the botanical textures. And then this bundle, the Textured Notes stamp set, which has some very interesting, what do I call this? Distinctive images here of the weaving, and then some kind of botanical images there with the leaves and the sentiments. You are seriously the best. Thank you. And a little note of appreciation. The dies are must have. These are the Textured Note dies. And if you are missing the deckled rectangles, you're going to want this one. I lost my train of thought. I was saying deckled. Textured Note dies includes different rectangles that have, each one has like its own little design that sort of stitched etches onto the die cuts. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the long skinny one, 8 different rectangles. Are you guys seeing some blurry camera I'm wondering if I need to turn my Wi-Fi off. Maybe it's just me. Let me know really quick how the video is on your end, and we'll see if we need to change it. So in addition to this amazing bundle, we also have the mini corrugated embossing folder. This is a new fave. I feel like it just goes with so many things. And it totally reminds me of Anna's sculpture now that I think about it, with the corrugated cardboard. So this is kind of a fun one that I think is going to be really versatile. And then this ribbon, I love this. This is a 1/4-inch ribbon. It is white and it kind of has like some weave to it. It's really kind of fun. I've actually included this ribbon and the designer paper as well in my product share. Right here. Like, I know I have a paper somewhere. My product share is going to include those new designer papers and ribbons from the March online exclusives and the May upcoming online exclusives and the annual catalog. So I kind of just put them all together. Anything that was new that I hadn't included in a product share yet. If you haven't already, reserve your spot, tinyurl.com/May 2025 product share. This ribbon though is just so awesome. I love white ribbon because it goes with everything and it's so versatile. And this is a good one to have. So that'll be in the product share, but you can get all of this stuff right now. In fact, with the free shipping offer that's happening, you've got one more day tomorrow of free shipping when you order $75 or more. So it's the perfect time to get all of your online exclusive favorites or your last chance favorites, and then free shipping. I mean, hello, it's like an 11% savings, an 11% discount on everything. That's amazing. And that's on top of the Stampin' rewards that you're going to earn for demonstrators. It's on top of your demonstrator discount. So it's like the best day ever to order. These are the neutral matte dots. They're part of this suite as well. They kind of remind me of the classic matte dots or something that we had. Like, they're very neutral. There's white, black, like a cream or vanilla, and then pecan pie. So you probably have something similar in your stash already. Now, one thing that is different now, because we have these new Stampin' Reward changes, is I will not be including embellishments in the project kits, but I am still including the designer paper and, of course, the back pocket card layout. So we have the Botanical Texture Designer Paper here, and you'll get 4x6 samples of that designer paper. This is a black and white designer paper, and so I struggled a little bit not to use color, but I am doing black and white and gray cards tonight. So kind of outside of the box a little bit for me, but I think it'll be great. Marie is asking about using the Stampin' Blends to color on the ribbon. I think so. It is a, I think it's a cotton ribbon. I was trying to see where it says. Maybe it says on here. Nope, it doesn't. It just says white ribbon. Let's try though, yeah? Let's try, this is the dark olive, and I mean, I feel like almost every ribbon you can use Stampin' Blends to color, so, oh, look at that fun texture. It really is so pretty. So you can use the Stampin' Blends to color on there. You can also use your ink pad and a sponge dauber or some re-inker. That's what I love about white ribbon, is that you have so much flexibility to color any way that you want. Yeah, I am really seeing some blurry video. I know so many of you said it's good for you. If you say it's good, then I'm so worried here. Let me just turn the Wi-Fi off really quick. Okay, I think we should be back. Hopefully we're good. And sorry about that. I know you lost me while I was doing the Wi-Fi. Hopefully we're good. Sorry about that little interruption. All right, so let's see. Nancy says She's not a big fan of the black and white designer paper. And maybe I'll change your mind. I hope so, Nancy. So one thing, like when I am deciding what to feature, I work with some other demonstrators on a tutorial collaboration, and I don't talk about this a lot, but when you get my project kit, you also get a PDF with bonus ideas using the same suite. And so the suites that I choose to feature, I kind of go along with the ones that I have the bonus tutorials for. And so that sort of dictates which ones I choose. And so this was one of the suites that we chose because it was kind of a featured online exclusive suite. And I was kind of like delaying my crafting with it because I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. So I don't even know if I like them. You guys will you'll change my mind, I think. Maria, the embellishments are pretty low profile, which I really like that about them. They're very similar to like the in color resin dots if you have those. There's almost like a little, I don't want to call it a divot, but they're pretty flat with like a little small circle in the center. Let me take it out and see. Enamel effects. If I remember, the enamel effects, is that the little paint bottles? I never use them very much, Alita. I did make a background out of them once, and you can use them to add dots, to your project and kind of embellish that way. Let's dig into our first project. The first one, this is so last minute. I don't even know what order to do them in. I'm gonna make this one. This is gonna be our layout, but I want to start with. I'm gonna start with this one. I don't know why. I want to. So this card is going to kind of do a designer paper card front. I always loved those where you have like a whole piece of designer paper that is taking up the front of the card. And I think this is the right one. See, a lot of these B-sides are really sort of like almost charcoal, kind of the equivalent to a watercolor wash, but like with charcoal. Like I feel they're very artsy. I'm going to use this one that has kind of these watercolor with white leaves. And so our card is going to be a smoky slate card base. And it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 plus 1 3/4. That would be 7 1/4. Scored at 5 1/2. And so this part is 2 inches. Actually, so that's 7 1/2. I'm sorry. 4 1/4 by 7 1/2. Scored at 5 1/2. So you have a little 2-inch piece here, and then a 1 3/4 inch piece of the basic black, and I used the mini corrugated embossing folder and forgot to cut it to the right size. It should be 4 inches by 1 3/4. That's going to fit there. And then there's also a piece for the inside that's white, and we have some layered pieces here. And this is one of those die cut rectangles. Do you see the little detail on there? I just love that so much. So we are going to kind of create a card that has a flap with the designer paper. So we need to cut the designer paper down a little bit. I'm going to get my paper cutter out, and it's already 4 inches, which is perfect for a card front. So I'm going to just cut it at 5 1/4. So this is normally like what you would have for a card front, and it would fit on there just right. And I have a little strip left over, and I'm going to use that on the inside of the card. But my inside card piece is 3 3/4 inches, and so I'm just going to cut the designer paper just a little to fit that. And you could always just glue it on and then use your scissors to cut that if you want. But those are the 2 pieces of designer paper that we're going to use here. And so let's do some stamping, and then we can put everything together. So we're going to do kind of a collage of elements with the Textured Notes stamp set. This, the greetings in this stamp set are thank you related. You're seriously the best. Thank you. A little note of appreciation. And Oh, that's it, just 3. Now I always try to design the cards so that if you don't have the same stamp set, that you could easily substitute similar stamps or other images at home, or even just other greetings. And so I hope that you find that to be true for what we're doing tonight. I'm cleaning all my stamps because as I was designing, I used some different colors for some of these images. So I just want to start fresh, fresh and clean. So let's get out our smoky slate. I'm also going to need a little grid paper tonight. You know, we were talking about this grid paper ink pad the other day, or not ink pad, this grid paper. It comes very large. It's like 11 by 18, and I cut it in half, and I thought that it was all sold out, but I realized that it's actually a demonstrator only item. You could do this with your regular grid paper. The regular grid paper is a better value. Actually, this one being printed in color, it costs a little bit more, but it has centimeters on one side and inches on the other. So if you're a demonstrator, you can get this grid paper. If you're not a demonstrator, you can just get the regular grid paper and take that large pad to, you know, like a Kinko's or Staples or somewhere where they can cut with a large cutter to get through the whole pad, because the other pad is a lot bigger and definitely won't fit in a at-home cutter. Okay, so let's do some stamping here. I'm going to start with our greeting on the top of the die cut rectangle. And so for this one, we're using a little note of appreciation. And so that's going to go right at the top. And I think I should go ahead and stamp on the inside as well. So I'm going to stamp thank you on the inside. And then next we're going to stamp that woven image, this like circle. So interesting. I don't have a stamp like this at all. I want to kind of layer my images. So with this first image, I'm going to stamp off a little bit to get a lighter color, and then I'm going to stamp here at the bottom. So you get this really cool kind of distinctive image with that woven circle. And then we're just going to keep layering on top of that. So next I'm going to do the larger leaf in Smoky Slate. And I think I'm going to add this here as well. And then we'll take the smaller leaf and we'll do this one in black. I'm using the Memento black. We have 2 different black inks. We have the Memento black ink, and this one is a let me see what it says. I don't want to misspeak here. It is water-based. Yes. So this one is a water-based ink, and it's acid-free, so it's safe for scrapbooking. So it's a water-based ink. So this is one that you'll want to use with Stampin' Blends, because Stampin' Blends are alcohol markers and they won't bleed or blend the water-based ink that you stamp with. Now, if you're watercoloring, you want to use the opposite. If you use a water-based ink to watercolor, then your water pen or your paintbrush is going to blend or bleed the colors of the line that you stamp. So when you're using watercoloring, then you want to use StazOn ink, which is a solvent ink. So that is more in line with like the alcohol. I don't think it's classified as an alcohol ink. I could be wrong, but so those are the 2 black ink pads that we have. Now the Memento ink is not as dark as the StazOn ink, so I always feel like it's kind of like a light black, but the Memento ink, being a water-based ink, it cleans off your stamps a lot more easily, and with the StazOn ink, it kind of sticks on there, especially on the photopolymer. And so with photopolymer, I prefer the Memento. So that's my little spiel about the difference between the ink pads. I mostly use Memento, but we also have the StazOn. So anyway, yes, Susan, water-based and alcohol-friendly, and then the other one is kind of the opposite. So if you're using Stampin' Blends, use the Memento. If you're watercoloring, use the StazOn. All right, so where was I? And when you're just stamping black, you can use either one. Okay, so we have our pieces stamped. So let's move this out of the way and put our card together. I'm going to start by adhering the designer paper to this card front. And so oh, that's funny. I think I cut my gray cardstock wrong because this should be 4 1/4. So sometimes that happens. Let's go ahead and get a new piece out and recut it. Stampin' Up pads are water-based. They are a water-based dye ink. It says it right there. So if you are watercoloring with these, you can pick up the color. We do that a lot where we squeeze and we pick up the color and watercolor with it. But if you try to stamp in this ink and then watercolor, then you could make those lines bleed, which is like a whole different effect in itself. It looks really cool, but sometimes you don't want that. So yeah. All right. Cindy is saying, I thought that using StazOn with photopolymers was a big no-no. Technically, Stampin' Up! Says you can use StazOn with photopolymer, but you want to clean your stamps right away. I just scored the wrong way because I was talking. If you use StazOn on photopolymer, you want to clean your stamps like right away. But I find that the ink kind of sticks to it. So I definitely avoid StazOn with my photopolymer stamps. So yes. Okay, I'm cutting at 4 1/4. So we have a hot dog style card base here, and then I'm scoring at 5 1/2. And then I'm going to cut it off after 2 inches. So this is 7 1/2 inches long, 4 1/4 wide. This is the piece I used to cut the extra layer for the card. Now, when you get your card kit, it will be correct and you won't have to do that. All right, so I'm going to start by kind of centering that designer paper on the card base, and then I'm going to put my adhesive on the flap and close the flap so that now the designer paper sticks to the front. So it's a designer paper card front. And I'll use my bone folder to just get a nice good crease there. Susan's asking, doesn't Stampin' Up! Have a stamp cleaner? This is true. Stampin' Up! Does have a StazOn cleaner. I would definitely recommend using it for the rubber stamps. I've heard mixed things about whether or not the StazOn cleaner is safe for photopolymer stamps. So I just avoid it all. But the StazOn cleaner works really, really well on the rubber, and it clears off that staining, because the thing with the StazOn, it literally is in the name, it stays on. It's a solvent ink, and so it will stain fabric and it will stamp on wood and plastic. Like you could stamp on your cello bag or your clear envelope with the StazOn ink, and so it does have a tendency to stain your stamps because it stays on there. So the StazOn cleaner, you can get that in the online store, I'm pretty sure. And that is definitely what you want to use if you're using StazOn. I almost never use it anymore. Okay, I'm going to do some adhesive, and again, I'm putting it right onto the card base, which is kind of opposite, but I find with the mini corrugated, when you put adhesive right directly on the cardstock, it kind of stretches out the corrugated design. So by putting it onto the card base, I can then sort of preserve. Oh, you know what? It wasn't too long. When I cut it earlier, it was just right. Oh, jeez. It was just right. It was my card base that wasn't the right size. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to glue the piece back on. Do you think anybody will notice? So I put the adhesive down, and then I can kind of push down there. And then here's the piece I cut off, and I am just going to add it. I'm going to add it right on there. Just do a little doot, 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 doot with liquid glue and add, pretend like I didn't even ever cut it off. See? You can hardly notice. Okay, on the inside, we have our white cardstock and our little strip, and I meant for it to go this way, but I kind of actually like the darker one. And it goes with that, and we've got the stamp images there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the other side down. Of course, you can do whatever you'd like on your card. On my sample card, I actually did not stamp on the inside. I just had the designer paper, and I used the other side because it didn't conflict with everything else that was going on. Okay, so this is going to go right at the bottom. And then I'll glue this on the inside. Now this piece is 3 3/4 by 5, so it's a little bit smaller than I normally would use on the inside. But the reason why is because I wanted it to be well within the insides of this designer paper. If I made it the same size as the designer paper and I didn't quite center them both the same, then you might see a little white sticking out here, you know, under the paper, and I just didn't want to do that. So this piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and the white piece inside is 3 3/4 by 5. So it's just a little bit smaller, and then everything is covered the way it should be. All right, we are getting this done. We're gonna layer these pieces together, and again, the colors I'm using are smoky slate and basic black, and then the memento black. So let's put this one on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Now, whether you use this paper or another, this card design could easily be recreated with different designer paper, different stamps to create a card for any occasion. So I hope that you'll give this layout a try and really mix and match and play with your different designer paper and embossing folder combinations and see what you can come up with. Now we got to add some bling, of course, and so I'm bringing out those neutral matte dots, and I'm going to use the black ones to just kind of tie some of that black back in, and I'm just going to go 3 right around our little collage of elements. So there is card number 1. I was looking today at some ideas to be inspired because I was feeling a little, I don't know, just stuck. And I saw so many cards where they combined the black and white paper with colors, and they were so beautiful. And I think that you could try this same layout, and instead of gray, you could bring in like green or, you know, blue or something like that. So give that a try. If you're not a fan of the black and white, maybe try to mix in some other colors and see what you think. Oh, I'm loving all the hearts. I'm so glad you guys like this card. Let's move on to our next card. And I'm kind of going in the order that I designed the card. So we'll save our back pocket card layout for last because it's still a work in progress. You guys will help me finish it. Our next card is our fun fold. Now, I do these monthly card kits every month, and there's a different kit featuring a different suite. And what I love is that I always have a back pocket card layout, of course, but I also try to always do a fun fold. And so I'm hoping to sort of build your knowledge and your collection of different fun folds. And always, whenever you watch any of my videos, I hope that you feel inspired to try these cards with the stuff that you have at home, right? So the designer paper that you have at home and the stamps. So this card I've shown before, but I just love it. It is a diagonal easel card. It's another long card base, 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So half a sheet of cardstock the long way. I've scored it at 5 1/2, and 5 1/2 plus 1 1/4 is 6 3/4. I better just measure just to be sure. I don't want someone to yell at me because I said it wrong. I will have all this in the tutorial. And when I just realized I have last month's kit, which I will put for sale on the site. How did I forget to do that today? I will get that up after we're done with the video. So 5.5 and 6 3/4. Those are your score lines. And then you're going to score diagonally from the bottom of the second score line up to the top corner. Can you see that on camera? Hopefully you can see that. And so this is kind of a bookbinding card with the easel. And we have an option here. This is sort of fun. When you have a bookbinding card like this, you can either glue the whole thing down so that it's like this, or you can create a pocket. So let me show you how to create a pocket. If you want to have a pocket to input like a gift card or I don't know, something else, you're going to use tear and tape or another strong adhesive only on the sides. Now, if you don't want the pocket, then you would just put adhesive down the whole thing. But when you put it only on the sides and you close it, then you create a pocket that you can put stuff into. So that's just kind of an optional thing when you're making your card if you want to have that pocket there. And if you make it with a pocket and then don't ever use it, no one's ever going to know. Oh, Sherry, I'm so glad I sold you on this paper. We only got one project in, and I haven't even shown you all the samples yet. So I love it. Okay, speaking of the paper, we're going to get our paper back out and we're going to do some trimming. We're going to cut some pieces for the card. So we're going to use this one. This is my favorite pattern. I think I love this one. We're going to use this on the spine. And then this one too. I just love this sort of gray texture with the splatters. We're going to kind of use that on the front. So let's get our paper trimmer out and let's get this cut. We are going to cut this piece at 1 inch. So it's already 4 inches. So we're going to do 1 by 4 for the side. Let's go ahead and do a 1 by 4 for the inside too. We're going to have to cut that down because our square is smaller. And then on this piece, we are going to do 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Okay, so I'm putting these pieces aside. We can use them on another card. And that's the pieces I need to cut. So I'm going to put that down. The other pieces that are in the kit include 2 pieces of white that are 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. One of them is to layer the designer paper, and the other one is going to be for the inside of the card. We are going to do some fussy cutting. Now this stamp set has those leaf dies, but it does not, or leaf stamps, but it does not have any dies that go with the stamps because the dies that are bundled are all rectangles. So we're going to stamp the leaf and we are going to cut it out with some scissors. And I'm sorry. How do you feel about, you know what, I think that was gray and now it's black. I should have cleaned it first, but tell me how you feel about fussy cutting on a scale of 1 to 10. How much are you okay with fussy cutting? Do you hate it? That would be a 1, like not a fan of fussy cutting. Or do you love fussy cutting? That would be a 10. So give me your numbers, 1 through 10. I think I'm kind of ambivalent, so I guess that would make me right in the middle, but I do love the way that it looks. So I would label myself a 7 or an 8 on the fussy cutting scale. Tell me what you think. I probably shouldn't get too detailed here. I'm just going to go around the edges a little bit and not worry about getting every leaf just perfectly. Also, when you fussy cut, do you like to leave a white border as I'm doing here? Or are you one that cuts right to the edge of the stamp image? Now, I know that stamping or cutting a border can be a little tricky because you're just not sure like how much room to leave. And I'm certainly not perfect when it comes to that. And so sometimes I've got more room or less room, but overall, I just feel like, you know, people are not going to be nitpicking when they get this card. They're not going to be like, oh my gosh, her cutting is so uneven. Now, I know that there are devices out there that will give you that perfect, like, you know, 1/8 inch or whatever, like a scan and cut. And I've never had a scan and cut. I've never been interested in that, but I guess that is what could save you from fussy cutting, is using a machine like a scan and cut, which scans the image and then cuts it out. So it's like having a die for every single stamp image that you have. Does anybody have a scan and cut? You'll have to let me know. Let me know. And if you have it, do you use it? I think that is I think that's the other the other thing. We might have a whole collection of stuff, but whether or not we use those things is another story altogether. All right, I'm digging out my sample to see what else I did because I don't remember. Okay, on the stamping, this is kind of fun. We're going to use this rope stamp. And I always try to use all the stamps in the stamp set when I'm stamping. Sometimes I don't get through them all. It's just how it goes sometimes. But I think I did use them all this time. So I was kind of proud of that. Let's get that grid paper back out so we don't stamp on the table. That's always just bad for the next thing that lands in that spot. We are going to stamp in gray. Oh, Cindy says she has a scan and cut, but it's a pain to get out and die cutting is faster. I'm not a patient person in my stamp room, so it's probably a good thing I don't use something like that. Brother makes the scan and cut, Alita. I'm reading Bonnie's comment. She says, Julie, you know how you do like to color. Well, I do not like to fussy cut at all. Fair. We'll have to do another scale, 1 to 10 when I do some coloring next. So I did the little rope on both. Now I've got 2 circles here. This one's 2 inches. This one's 1 3/4. And on the last card, I'm using the 2 3/8. That's all 3 of our circle punches. I love circle punches. And there is a new one coming out in the catalog, which is going to be interesting because the new one is 1 7/8 inch. So it's going to be right in between these 2 punches. So right now, like this is how these 2 layer together. And so the 1 7/8 inch is going to be between those 2. Which I guess would make it fun if you want to really just layer, but I sort of also feel like it's a little redundant. I'm not sure. 1 7/8 inch is literally 1/8 of an inch from 2 inches. I guess I'll see, because you know I'm going to get it. But I'm not sure if I need it. Do I need it? I'm going to use the little leaves and do those in black again. This is for the inside, the smaller circle. That's so pretty. And then for the big circle for the front, I'm going to do the thank you. Oh, perfect. Perfection. Should we stamp something on the inside? I think we're going to leave it for right now. So we've got our little pieces stamped. Let's work on putting this card together. For the front, we're going to use the designer paper. I'm laughing about the punch because you know I'm gonna get it. It's true. I get so many things I shouldn't. And then I convince you to get them too. And I'm sorry for that. I'm laughing. I really am sorry that I enable you. I've been told that my videos should come with a warning, right? For the inside piece, we're gonna put the designer paper down on the bottom. I don't know, I left like a little border there. Okay, and just trim off that little extra piece. This is going to go on the inside. Susan, I do have the wonky circle dies. I don't remember their name. I haven't used them yet. I haven't. I got the bundle. I was like, these are going to be fun. And then I haven't done anything. I'm poking my tear and tape back in because it's sticking out. I'll have to add that to my list for the next video maybe, and use those wonky circle dies. I really can't remember the name. Let's look it up. I think were they in the March online exclusives? No, I think they were in January. That would be a different flyer, which is not at my fingertips right now. Oh, that sounds right. I think it's called Around It All. Something like that. You're right. Okay, I have a piece that is 3/4 of an inch by too long. I don't know, 4 inches. It shouldn't be this long. We're going to cut it anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I'm going to cut kind of an angle. Now, before you cut such a large chunk off, you'll want to eyeball it, because I might cut it smaller, hopefully, for your paper. Your end result should go almost all the way across the designer paper, okay? Just an FY. So I'm going to add our die cut piece. I'm going to just do that with some regular adhesive and put that down kind of on the left side there. And then I'm going to add, again, I'm putting the adhesive on the area where I want the corrugated, so I don't stretch out the corrugated too much. For the front, we have the thank you, which is going to go on with some Stampin' Dimensionals on the top and the bottom. And I say the top and the bottom because we have this piece, which has that extra thickness through the center. So I'm really trying to keep the center not so bulky. So try to avoid that for the Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to put it over here, kind of overlapping. That's nice. And then I'll bring in some bling while we're in here. I'm going to do one on the strip and then 2 up here. I love the way the white looks against the black and white and the gray here. I just think like it all just ties in so nicely. See what I mean? Like I'm warming up to the black and white. I really am loving the way these cards turned out. Now when we add this to the front of the card, we want this to be able to fold up like this, and so you don't want to have adhesive that is going to attach this side to the card front. So it needs to be able to kind of fold up like that, and so you only want to add adhesive to the flap here, and you also want to be careful because there's a little border. So I'm going to add the adhesive. I'll use tear and tape. I'm going to add it directly to the card front, being careful not to go too far out because I don't want to accidentally have it coming out the edges. Okay. Is the corrugated embossing folder smaller than the old one? Yes. I don't have the old one anymore, but I do believe that it is a smaller width, or smaller corrugation, corrugated, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, I believe, Sherry, that it's smaller. All right, I've added our square, doing a little back rub here. And so now it is ready to prop up, and look at that, it's propping up all on its own. It's not supposed to. There's supposed to be an element that kind of keeps it from, that keeps it propped up. And so whenever you're making an easel card, you want to have an element on the inside that is attached with Stampin' Dimensionals that props up the easel part. So I'm going to use that 1 3/4 inch circle, and I'm going to come like all the way to the edges here. So like the edges of the card. So it kind of like comes off the square. I'm okay with that. So the finished card, it would prop up like this, and it displays really nicely. That's what I love about the easel cards, is it just sort of looks nice. And then when you close it, it folds flat and fits inside a regular envelope, and you can have your message in there that is partially hidden then when it is on display and not like for everyone to read. Isn't that fun? I like that one. So here is card number 2. We've made 2 cards so far. We've got one more to go with the beautiful Botanical Textures Designer Paper. I'm gonna do a quick, because honestly I'm afraid I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna do a quick little break and show you some samples using the Botanical Texture Designer Paper. So here is another one that I created. I think this actually was a Sunday stamping video. I used the dies, so many of them, to create the die cut layers on this card. I really like the way this turned out. I should have just made this another card for our set, but I didn't. We are doing something a little bit different. So this has got the mini corrugated circle and the designer paper, some of the ribbon here, and the little dots, and then I even die cut the center. So many sizes of these rectangles. All right, here's one where I used some of the woven texture designer paper that has almost like photographic images of like textiles, or like wicker, like this. So this one, the die cut rectangle, I just cut off the edge and again use that mini corrugated embossing folder. Here's a swap card from Angie Leach, and she's used a little pecan pie and mixed the 2 designer papers, the woven textures and the botanical textures. I love this pop of color, even though this color is brown. I still just love kind of having a little color in there. I think it looks really great. We've got this card sample from Monica Davis, also using some of the great dies to die cut the rectangles. I think another popular pattern of the designer paper. This was a fun one from Natalie Travis. She did a little Z-fold, and then on this kind of fun, she used gray granite ink to stamp on the gray granite cardstock, and then used a white watercolor pencil to add some detail and shading to the leaves. I really like the way that turned out, and I think that the gray granite looks so nice with this woven texture designer paper. Here's a card sample from Mary Ellen Stites. She did add some green in there, mossy meadow, with a little bit of what looks like maybe granny apple green in there. It could be old olive. And then we've got some very vanilla. We've got some crumb cake, and oh, the name is like on the tip of my tongue. What is that? Basic beige. And that fits really nicely on the circle punch. Ooh, I should have thought of that. And then here's a pop of color from Barb Mulliken, and she used Azure Afternoon. She colored in the leaves of the stamped image and then also stamped in Azure Afternoon on that rectangular label. Seriously, the best. I like this simple layout. Okay, so let's get back to our April bonus project kit. We've got 2 cards and we've got one more to go. And this is the one I'm kind of still figuring out, but I have a plan in my head. I think this is going to be our back pocket card layout. I say I think because I haven't glued it all down, so we'll see. Are you familiar with back pocket card layouts? If you're watching my channel, I bet you are. We've got a new back pocket card layout every single month. And what it is it is a card layout with suggested measurements on one side, and the other side has 2 full color samples. Now there is a brand new card every month in a card kit, and so if you collect them all by ordering my kits or ordering from me and getting a free kit, you might have a whole ring of back pocket card layouts. Now I call them back pocket card layouts because these are layouts that you can stick in your back pocket and get out when you're feeling a little stuck and need some creative mojo. I'm really excited. I'm working on a special collection of back pocket card layouts. There will be 5 featuring the new catalog products, and so they're brand new layouts inspired by the annual catalog, and you can get them for free if you sign up for both of my product shares. So both of the annual catalog product share and the in color product share. I will also have an opportunity to purchase those 5 special edition back pocket card layouts separately. There will be a special project pouch and a random new embellishment from the catalog. So watch for details about that. That won't come for another couple weeks, maybe May when the catalog starts. I'll have that all worked out, but I'm really excited about that. My team members, they get all of my back pocket card layouts for free all the time. So they get the monthly back pocket card layouts. In fact, I just did a mailing for the quarter. And they will also get the special edition back pocket card layouts. It's just a perk of being on my Jubilant Stampers team. If you've been thinking about being a demonstrator, May is typically a time when we have a sign-up special, so stay tuned. I don't know anything, but the last few years when we've had a launch of an annual catalog, there's been a sign-up special too. So if you're interested in taking advantage of that amazing perk, then watch for details. In the meantime, I still have a couple of the 2024 collections. You can find those on my kit page. Let me get that page out really quick. I just dropped everything. Nope. I don't have it handy. There it is. Past kits. juliedavison.com/kits is where you're going to find my past monthly project kits. And I've got them all there from 2024. I've got January and February, and I will add March tonight after this video. And the March kit included the Floral Delight Designer Paper, which is really fun. So all of the kits feature the back pocket card layouts. That's just kind of one of the fun things about these card kits. So this will be the layout that will be featured on the back pocket card layout, I think. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't change my mind at this point unless I do one of these layouts, but I think this is going to work out nicely. So here's our paper that we have left over. And for this card, I think I want to use this one. We could also use this one. I'm going to cut them both and we'll take a vote. Now this is going to be a whole card front worth of designer paper. So this is already 4 inches. We're going to cut them both to 5 1/4. And we'll decide which one we want to use. And I don't think we're going to use any of the other designer papers, so you have some extra pieces. Now, if you are ordering from me and getting this kit for free, or if you're a team member and getting those tutorials for free, you'll also get the extra bonus card ideas. So when you have extra designer paper left over, you can look at that PDF and use the extra paper on one of those. Kind of fun. All right, where is my little sample, my little reference? Okay, we're gonna do some fancy cutting. Oh, are you guys excited? I am more excited than I should be. I wanted to kind of create a frame, but I also wanted to give you this really amazing die cut. And so you can do this with any rectangle that you want. So if you have a fun rectangle like the one from the textured note dies, you can cut a frame out of the inside. So we are going to use our 1/2 inch mark as our kind of point to measure. So we're going to take the edge, we're going to line it up here at the 1/2 inch mark, and then close the paper cutter. And there is a ruler here on the side, and I've highlighted mine with a piece of tear and tape so that you can see the numbers better. Just a little trick if you want to do that as well. I literally just took the tear and tape. Where did mine go? Right here. That tear and tape, and I just adhered it to the bottom, like right here, and then don't take the paper lining off. Super, super easy. So 1/2 inch here, then on the side, I am going to move my cutting blade. Now right there, see that line? That's where it's actually cutting. So we're gonna move that cutting line to 1/2 inch and we are gonna cut. Now this die cut is about 4 1/4. So I'm gonna cut down to 3 3/4 because that is 1/2 inch from the end. Then we're going to take, see we got a cut line, we're gonna take and do the same thing. We're gonna go 1/2 inch. We're going to cut, and here you can kind of use the cut line that you already have and the line on your blade to line that up, and you're going to cut. Now this one is 2 3/4, so we're going to go down to 2 1/4 with the cutting blade. Then we're going to turn it and 1/2 inch. We're going to line it up at 1/2 inch, come down to 3 3/4, turn it again, 1/2 inch, right up here. And now we have this inside that if it doesn't quite pop out, you can take your scissors. Actually, that one did it on its own, didn't it? Take your scissors and just kind of finish that little snip and cut it. There is a new set in the annual catalog, and it's with the beautiful gallery suite, and I almost wasn't gonna get the dies because it had like frame dies. I was like, I can make my own. These dies are currently unavailable. Oh no. Oh man, I guess I should have checked that. Well, when you order from me and you get your kit, you'll have your pre-cut rectangles already done for you. And if you don't have the dies and you're not going to get the kit from me, the dies will be back in stock. So don't fear, don't worry, they'll be back. Okay. So we're gonna do more fussy cutting. I forgot. I loved it so much the first time. I wanted to do it again. So we're gonna do the same image in black ink, and we're going to stamp and fussy cut. And you'll see me pushing really hard, and I am getting that like little halo just because I want it to be really dark black. Now, if you really wanted the really, really dark, use the Stays on ink that we talked about earlier. And that is just going to be a darker black. But this designer paper, I feel like is a little bit faded. It's not like a super dark black. So, whichever black ink you have, whatever shade of black you're using, will be just fine. Don't get too hung up on details like that. But another option, if you really want to make sure you're getting a nice dark color, is to re-ink your ink pad before you use it, and then you'll have nice juicy ink color and a good crisp image. That's something that I feel like I forget about and don't do as often as I should, is re-inking my ink pads. But whenever you get new ink pads, like especially these new in colors that are coming out, just go ahead and buy the ink refill at the same time so that you have it handy and ready. It may be a little while before you need it, but then you won't be scrambling. I was just talking with Donna earlier today. She stopped by to pick some stuff up, and she kind of fell in love with these retiring ink colors a little bit at the last minute, and so then she was like, oh, I couldn't get the ink refill because it's gone already. So with the ink colors, it's best just to get the ink refills at the same time, and then you won't have to worry when it's all sold out at the end, because the ink colors are only around for 2 years. I am gonna leave that, I think. All right. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That's kind of fun, isn't it? We have our frame, we have our die cut. I'm going to bring in a corrugated circle. This is the 2 3/8 inch circle punch, and I embossed it with a mini corrugated folder. So this is Smoky Slate. All right, so there's a sample in the new catalog that has sort of like this cattywampus, this crooked little frame, and I just know I really liked it. I sketched out my ideas from the new catalog that I loved. And here's the one that I loved. I just thought it was kind of fun. And so you see it has that, like, there's the frame and it's sort of like crooked. Actually, this designer paper looks like it might have been smaller. So maybe we should cut our designer paper down a little bit. First of all, let's have a quick little vote on what you think for the paper. Should we use this one that has open leaves or this one that has the closed leaves? Ooh, that's really interesting now that I move it over there. My original idea was to use this one, but I'm kind of loving the other one. Tell me what you think. It's kind of busy with the darker leaves, so maybe this one is less busy. Heather, thanks for the update. Yeah, it looks like those textured note dies are going to be coming back in May 12th. Now, that's actually a date that a lot of dies and punches and things that are out of stock right now, a lot of them are due back in May 12th, which is, gosh, just like 3 weeks away. How is that possible that it is so close to the end of the month? I don't even know where time is gone. Look at that. See, I used all the stamps in this set tonight. Okay, I'm looking at your votes. Open, close, 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 open, open, close, close, close leaves, ground the image. That's here. Open, closed. I'm seeing a lot more closed. And so I guess we'll go with the majority. When you're making your card at home, you can use whatever design you want. What's on the other side? Whoa. I don't know. I actually kind of like that. Oh. I love that it's different from the leaves and it's not, you know, like the same image. I think it makes the image pop a little bit more. The busier one, I think it's just too busy. So I don't know. Now we have a second option. So leaves or blobs. What else do you call those? They're kind of just blobs, right? Leaves or blobs. Lunch break cards by Diane. I love that, Diane. Okay, I'm Stampin' Up the You Are Seriously the Best. And this is skinny. Oh my gosh, this is really, oh, I did pretty good. There's not a lot of room to get it on there, but it fits just right. You are seriously the best. And look at that. Who doesn't love blobs? Apparently you guys all love the blobs. All right, I told you you're gonna help me with this card because we're just kind of making it up as we go. I have another question, and this is gonna totally, like, I don't know. we're gonna see. The question is, should we make this card? We need to decide before I stamp. Should we make this card vertical as it is right now, or should we make this card horizontal and change the orientation? Whoa. I don't know. I feel like it could go either way. So vertical or horizontal. I could make it both ways with the other, here's the pieces I have already cut. Look at that. This is not so dark though. See, I like the darker one better. And I can switch out the designer paper. Oh, that's right. Blobs are on the other side. Let's see how well I can seriously stamp the best again. Seriously the best. Honestly, I think that I will end up re-stamping. I don't love that leaf. I think I like it horizontal. Okay. Horizontal, vertical, 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 horizontal, both ways. You have to decide, Tony. Horizontal, vertical. Horizontal, vertical. I know, do both, right? I like it either way. Okay, this one, I'm not going to glue it down. I'll glue it down later and I'll put a picture like in the tutorials. Because I want to restamp and cut out the leaves so that they're darker because they're so light right now. So I'm going to just put this one aside and I'll finish that one later. Then I'll post it this or that on the Facebook page. Let's stick with the horizontal. And so we have our inside piece, and for the horizontal one, I'll go ahead and I'll stamp. Where's our grid? Stamp off the edge. Cute. And seriously the best. Let's do thank you on the inside again. Oh, you guys, I'm really liking these cards. I think they turned out really good. Isn't that true? Nancy's saying that she prefers vertical cards. I feel like we kind of have a tendency to do one or the other all the time. Do you find the same is true for you, that you kind of often make vertical cards or horizontal more than the other? And I think vertical, that's probably one that I tend to do more. When I always try in these card kits to kind of mix it up and do, you know, some of each. And ironically, right now I have one vertical and one horizontal. So this one could have gone either way. But I do try to be like aware of that when I'm designing the card kits and trying to make sure that I'm doing, you know, some of both. Okay, I'm going to put this, just, I don't know, let's be fun. Let's put this on with some dimensionals. I'm cutting the borders here. And I like these skinny ones. You could use the ones on the other side too, but these are just easier to fit. Okay. So we are going to go a little crooked. If you don't want to go crooked, you make your card however you want. And then since this is on dimensionals, we will add a couple dimensionals underneath the circle as well. And that will bring it to the same layer. And then I'm just going to use regular adhesive on the back of the leaf. Love the way that kind of overlaps. And we'll use some dimensionals on the banner. So I've got my 2 layers of dimensionals because the circle and frame are the same layer of dimensionals. I always talk about that, right? And then we got to add some bling. So where did our bling go? Here it is. I think probably black again. Let's add some here. And I'm going to do 2, and I'm going to stop at 2. And if you want to do a 3rd one, you put that wherever you want. But I always feel like where does it go? It's too crowded. The big circle is 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, there is our 3rd card, our Botanical Texture card kit. Let's bring them all back out. And I want to know, have I changed your mind? Were you maybe not loving this suite and now you're giving it a second look? I hope so. I I'm really loving the cards that I've done here. If you would like to get the items to make the cards, like the stamp set, and apparently not the dies, but if you want to get the stamp set and some other goodies, we got free shipping happening right now. 3 days only, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So Friday, April 25th is the last day to get free shipping. You can shop in my online store at juliedavison.com/shop. Make sure you opt in for Stampin' Rewards because you're going to get free shipping and you'll get Stampin' Rewards. And when you order $40 or more, you will also get my card kit for free. You've got just until next week, April 30th, the last day of April, to earn my project kit for free. And I hope that you do. Thank you to everyone who's placed an order for me already. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed tonight's video. Whether or not you're using this black and white Botanical Texture Designer Paper, I hope that you feel inspired to create cards like this at home using the stamps and ink and paper that you already have, because I know you have a lot. We all do. Thank you for tuning in tonight and stamping with me. Thanks for your input and helping me to create our cards, especially that last one. I always love chatting with you and stamping with you, and it's just my favorite way to spend a Thursday night. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week. Take advantage of that free shipping. Mom and I have got some fun projects planned for Sunday. We are doing a sneak peek of some new products coming out in the annual catalog and featuring some new in colors. So be sure to check out our video this coming Sunday at noon Central Time. And oopsies, I forgot about the Great Big Card Swap on Tuesday. Like, I just totally forgot. I was sitting here at home. I don't know, putzing around, and I totally just slipped my mind. And the next morning I was like, it was supposed to be yesterday. So we're going to do the Great Big Card Swap next Tuesday so that we could be live on Tuesday the 29th. So I'm so sorry about that if you were waiting for me and I didn't show up. I'm sorry, but we'll still do our Great Big Card Swap showcase. We've got our food fight theme to finish up, and there's such fun cards to share. So be sure to tune in for that. But that is it for me. Thanks again. You guys are awesome. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on all those amazing videos. Have a great night, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.